Many students are actually frustrated. Why? Well, look no further than right next to me. As you can see, despite a decrease in cases, the campus remains in a state of code red.
Now that SU plans to move from code red to code blue, vaccinated students can now remove their masks in academic buildings. But it's here in classrooms where the masks need to stay on, which is a sigh of relief for some professors. I am here in East Syracuse at Janet Berman's watch party, and I'm joined right now alongside the Republican mayoral candidate. I've actually got right here my sleeping bag. I've got a tent. First off, I got to figure out how to put that tent together. I'm not really good with this whole camping thing. Come into my tent right now. Honestly, it's not too bad in here. I thought it was going to be terrible. Thought it was going to be freezing. Hasn't been that cold. We've got 24 hours to go before tip off, but I think it's safe to say the energy is certainly buzzing here outside of the Carrier Dome. Sexual assault is not something that can be seen. Rather, it happens behind closed doors. But one door that always remains open is here at Bear House, a resource center for survivors. This here beside me is one of the new electric vehicle charging stations that SUNY ESF and National Grid unveiled yesterday. And of the events planned, the biggest is the It's a Wonderful Run 5K, set to start tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock.
Reporting from the 125th Boston Marathon, I'm John Perik, Citrus TV News.
Nicole, good morning. According to Frank Capra, the fictional town Bedford Falls in the movie It's a Wonderful Life was not based on any singular town. Rather, it was every American town. But this week I spoke with a few people in Seneca Falls who have a different opinion. It's the 75th anniversary of one movie that never gets old. Each Christmas, Seneca Falls, New York embraces what they believe is their true identity.
This town was the design that Frank Capra discovered when he visited here.
Over the course of 5 days in December, original cast members and loyal fans come together to remember, celebrate, and forever love One Wonderful Life.
Frank Capra said, "It's a Wonderful Life isn't the way life is, just the way it should be."
But never so more has the movie's true meaning rung louder than today.
There was a pandemic going on when the movie was taking place. It's timeless. This movie is timeless. It means more now than it did then.
Even during a pandemic, wherever you are in Seneca Falls, it's hard not to be reminded of Frank Capra's masterpiece.
That bridge looks exactly like it does in the movie.
And it's this bridge right here behind me that connects real-life Seneca Falls to fictional Bedford Falls. In the movie, George Bailey jumped off of a similar-looking bridge and took the famous plunge to save Clarence. And if you walk across the bridge, you will find a plaque that tells the story of one hero who jumped in and gave his life for that of another.
That impacted. That's why that scene was in the movie.
As days go by in this small central New York town, the importance of one message will always remain. One as timeless as the movie itself, that of friendship and community. With Juice and Java, I'm John Perik. Thank you, Trey. I'm here outside of the Sayu fraternity, where last night a few hundred students gathered and voiced their anger following unconfirmed allegations of sexual misconduct. Kick him out! Kick him out! Kick him out! Kick him out! Protests are once again captivating the SU campus.
Silence is violence! Silence is violence! Silence is violence!
This time it's about an alleged sexual assault that occurred within Sayu. And last night, students went from fraternity house to fraternity house, alleging they harbor a rape culture.
Can't protect rape! Can't protect rape! Can't protect rape! Can't protect rape! Can't protect rape!
News about the alleged incident first circulated around a social media platform called Yik Yak, prompting students to act.
Women are never believed. Our stories never ever make it to the forefront. My body, my choice.
Around 11 o'clock, protesters gathered outside of SU Chancellor Kent Severud's house. There, they asked for one thing.
We need a leader. We need a leader. We need a leader. We need a leader.
As the night concluded, the protesters left behind a message for their chancellor.
We're leaving the sign. Survivors deserve better. Kent needs to believe survivors, and SU needs to do better.
And at the moment, it remains unclear as to whether or not any more protests will ensue. Reporting live outside of the Psi fraternity, I'm John Perik, Citrus TV News.
Thorndon Park Association members say they are confused as to why the university wants to take over maintenance of a portion of the park. Citrus TV's John Perik joins us live from Thorndon Park. John, do you know when the service agreement will be finalized?
Ricky, good evening. That's the question many members of Thorndon Park are continuing to ask, and as it stands, the answer remains unclear. But as time passes, both confusion and frustration continue to build. A home to beauty, wildlife, and recreation. For many, Thorndon Park is a paradise. Yet some feel that could soon change if neighboring Syracuse University is granted too much control under the new city services agreement.
But certainly we're worried. You know, it is David and Goliath.
The proposed agreement will give the university maintenance control over certain areas of the park, which has sparked concern for Dale Avers and other park volunteers.
To lose that would be devastating. I can't even put it into words if this became annexed with the university.
Park volunteers are not the only ones frustrated with the agreement. During a recent council meeting, nearby residents of the area spoke up.
I want this off the table. I don't want SU dabbling in Thorndon Park at all.
As frustration builds among city residents and park volunteers, the city of Syracuse believes an equilibrium can be reached.
There's no reason to throw out the entire agreement. What we really need to do is just be more specific in the language that's used within it.
Dunham says she hopes a new draft can be finalized by the end of the month, but she believes the agreement should not be rushed.
But certainly it's more important that we get this right than we get it done quickly.
City residents and Thorndon Park volunteers say they want to maintain the heart and history of their beloved sanctuary.
But what would happen for a snow removal plow to rip up these bricks? I mean, that would be devastating again.
Although the future of Thorndon Park remains up in the air, one thing is clear.
Yeah, we want SU to back off.
Now, SU did not directly comment on Thorndon Park's involvement in the agreement, and it's also worth mentioning that a few weeks ago during that council meeting, Syracuse University did not send a representative. Now, Thorndon Park members tell me that despite the confusion and frustration, they still remain hopeful that both sides can come to terms. Reporting live from Thorndon Park, I'm John Perik, Citrus TV News.